Live from the Al Roker Television Studio, this is WTOP 10 News at 10.
Good evening, Oswego, on this Tuesday night, and thanks for joining us. I'm John Mangello.
And I'm Olivia Eugenio. Tonight's top story, an envelope tested positive for ricin was intercepted by the U.S. Capitol's off-site mail facility in Washington this afternoon. The envelope was on its way to Memphis, Tennessee, with no return address.
Now, the last ricin incident to hit the Capitol was in 2004 and caused 16 employees to go through decontamination procedures. Ricin can be produced cheaply and quickly because it is found in castor beans. While it's not effective as a weapon of mass destruction, it is very harmful to individuals. And in just a few moments, a second victim in the Boston Marathon bombing has been identified.
And evidence of how the bombs were made has been found. We will have more on these stories in just a minute, but first, a quick check of your weather outside with meteorologist Rob Camille. Rob?
Thanks a lot, guys, and good evening. Oswego meteorologist Rob Camille standing outside the campus center on a decent ending to what was otherwise a not very decent Tuesday. Looking at your current conditions right now, thermometers sitting at 48 degrees. Feels a little bit colder out there. We just had that cold front move through. It's been giving us all those rain showers off and on all day. There's still a couple showers around the area, but most of it has moved down to our south and east as that cold front has traveled through and is going to travel through the rest of central New York. Looking at our radar right now, as we said earlier, most of that rain, the heavier rains indicated by the darker greens and yellows, moved off to the south and east, setting us up for a very beautiful but rather cold Wednesday. How long is that nice weather going to last, and what's your weekend looking like? I'll have your full forecast a little bit later on in the show, but for now, I'll send it back inside to Olivia and John. Guys, take it away.
The second victim in the deadly Boston Marathon bombings has been identified as 29-year-old Crystal M. Campbell from Medford, Massachusetts. Her father said she was standing near the finish line to take a picture of her boyfriend who was competing, trying to complete the race. Crystal, a restaurant owner, was a, quote, very caring, very loving person who was daddy's little girl. The bombs have now claimed the lives of 3 and injured close to 176 others.
The newest developments in the Boston Marathon investigation. The explosives were in pressure cookers containing shards of metal and nails, according to a source who would like to remain anonymous. The police have yet to figure out what detonated the bombs. WTOP will continue to update you with the newest developments on our Twitter and Facebook.
Some parents did not want their kids to take the state-administered English exams this morning, and some of those wishes were granted. Of the almost 2,300 students given tests this morning, 4 children from 3 different families refused to take the test out of protest about the format. Now, these tests are used to monitor the learning level of each school, and the better the scores, the more rewards are given to that school district. The law states that only 95% of students in a particular grade have to take the tests. The students that didn't were given a chance to read books during the testing period instead.
And a mistake in Oswego County scared the public this morning. The emergency siren for the nuclear power plant was accidentally set off during testing. The Oswego County Emergency Management Office released a statement to the public within minutes stating that the siren was a false alarm. The acting director of the Oswego County Emergency Management Office, Terry Bennett, advises the county to still react to the sirens as if there was an emergency. And with Quest being tomorrow, our very own Brian Tosti will be covering WTOP's coverage for tomorrow. Brian?
Speakers.
Brian. All right, take Brian.
All right, thanks, Olivia. And we're here in the WTOP studio, right, where we're having our own newscast right now. And tomorrow, there's going to be a bunch of coverage for Quest Day here on the Oswego campus, including an 8:30 a.m. broadcast. We'll have a little bit of coverage on what's to come during Quest Day, so you want to catch that as you're heading out the door to those presentations. Also, later in the day at 1 o'clock to 4, we'll also have coverage here on WTOP 10 about some of the presentations. We'll have some presenters in and get a little bit of an inside view on some of those presentations. So if you're looking to write a little bit of a paper on one of those classes that you need to fulfill one of those papers for, you might want to check us out and get a little bit of an in-depth look at some of those presentations. As for now, we'll send it back to the desk.
New York City is on high alert after the deadly bombing at the Boston Marathon yesterday.
Most city residents are taking it all in stride. Catherine Brown has the story.
Bomb squad detectives responded to a rash of suspicious packages all across the city, evidence of the alarm New Yorkers are feeling less than 24 hours after the Boston bombings.
It's good that at least they have them there, and you feel secure.
I feel safer when the bomb is caught.
Above ground and below, thousands of uniformed and undercover officers patrolled the streets, subways, buses, ferries, airports, bridges, and tunnels. Police set up security stations, pulling commuters aside at random to wipe down their bags and check for explosives.
I'm not really even sure what they just did there, but if they just tried to take a sample off my strap, I'm not sure if that's going to detect any type of device.
Just the world we live in. I guess we have to adapt to it.
Karen Owen is back in the city after running the Boston Marathon, still shaken up and more aware of her surroundings than ever.
It's nice to see the dogs sniffing and the police officers searching, and that makes you feel safer.
Governor Cuomo has ordered state agencies operate on high alert. The NYPD deployed more than 1,000 counterterrorism officers and hundreds of critical response vehicles, while stressing there is no specific threat.
I would hope that people go about their lives, continue to participate in major events, and you know, rely on law enforcement to protect them. There are no guarantees. We saw this yesterday, but we're doing everything that we reasonably can do in this city to keep us safe.
Mayor Bloomberg made a show of that this morning, taking the subway to City Hall and urging New Yorkers to go about their business, but be alert and aware that anything can happen.
This kind of thing that happened yesterday, you know, just kind of just put you on alert. So sad for Boston and all those people, but we'll push ahead.
The probation officers in charge of monitoring David Renz's ankle bracelet are in hot water today after it is reported they ignored 46 tamper alerts coming from the device. Renz has already been caught removing the device on a previous occasion. On March 14th, he was arrested for killing Liverpool school librarian Laurie Bresnahan and for the rape of a 10-year-old girl. He was originally arrested back in January for possession of child pornography.
And the newest program in Onondaga County will be keeping senior citizens off the streets, driving that is. Central New York's eldest residents can get transported for free through the Baldwinsville Express driving program. Last year alone, the service provided 1,400 rides to seniors in the area, according to coordinator Alan Stevens. So just because you don't have your keys does not mean you're roadblocked.
If you are part of the Go Green movement, you can check out the SUNY Sustainability Fair tomorrow from 11 to 4 at 2 different locations here at the Campus Center, the Arena, as well as Room 114. The event featured displays by Oswego students and local businesses on how we can create a more sustainable world using our technology. Guest speakers will include New York Times science journalist Maggie Korth Baker at 2, amongst many others. Everything is free, so be sure to come check it out tomorrow afternoon during Quest.
This Thursday, the art exhibitions Imagining Cuba and Projections will be making their way to the Oswego campus. The art featured will be the work of 10 famous international photographers. The event will begin at 11:30 a.m. and will end at 3 p.m. in the Tyler Art Gallery.
And coming up after the break, New York State is receiving over $300,000 for electric car charging stations.
And we will have your full weather report with Rob Camille. Stay tuned, you're watching WTOP.
The Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
right, so Rob Camille joining us with Quest tomorrow and a lot of students going out tonight. How is the weather going to look? Are we going to see a lot of rain from today?
Well, you know what? Thankfully, it seems like most of the rain was just kept to exactly what you said. Today, the rain's finally gone out. We're setting up for a really, really good day tomorrow. Not as warm as we saw on Monday, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Right now, we actually have a shot from Skycam 10 capturing today's weather. Kind of a real gray, cloudy, rainy day. A lot of raindrops coming up on the camera lens there. This was taken about 3:30 this afternoon. This was the story for much of today. Just a real kind of blasé. Not the greatest day to be outside, but thankfully that's just the story for today. Tomorrow's looking a lot better. Later on the week, not so much. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Right now outside, 46 degrees is where the mercury sits. Rain has finally moved out. A couple showers over towards the southeastern part of the county. But for the most part, the Oswego area is just under a heavy bit of cloud cover. 41 degrees your real feel right now because of the winds out of the west at 9 miles an hour. So still a bit of a breeze out there. Right now around the rest of the state, 59 in the Big Apple as well as the state capital. 62 your warm spot in Poughkeepsie, New York down the Hudson Valley. 58 in Binghamton. 51 in Syracuse. 47 all the way out west in Buffalo, New York. And you can kind of see here, Syracuse is the main point. It's like a large line going down the state, kind of like a diagonal. This is where the cold front is right now. All the cities that are west and north of Syracuse are below the 50-degree mark, while all the cities south and east, are above the 50-degree mark. So you can kind of see where that front is right now and where it's going to be later on tonight. Your top weather headlines for this Tuesday evening, your Quest day looks great. Blue skies, sunshine, 40 degrees, awesome day tomorrow. Later on the week looks a little bit wet. The rain starts to come back into the picture towards Thursday into Friday. And the temperatures just can't stay still. That's really the theme for this unsettled pattern as the rest of your week goes on. Looking at the radar right now for central New York, most of the rain is out of the city of Oswego itself. Can't really say the same for the county as well as the rest of central New York. A lot of that heavier rain indicated by those darker greens and even those yellows down towards Ithaca and Elmira into the Twin Tiers region. Now, as you can see over here, this batch of precipitation into Wyoming, into the Midwest, down into Minnesota, we're not going to see it as snow, but this low pressure system and all this precipitation is what's going to be affecting us later on in the week. So that's what's going to be setting up for Friday. Tomorrow, though, high pressure in control over southwestern Quebec into eastern Ontario. Clockwise air motion pushing in that drier air from up north, giving us those sun and clouds of kind of making a buffer of this precipitation down here towards the Delmarva Peninsula and into our nation's capital. Now, as we go into later on in the week, you can see the jet stream, this large flow of air that controls a lot of the country's weather dips down towards Louisiana, dips way down into the south, bringing in that Canadian cold air mass, and that low pressure system we talked about is going to be in control for much of your Thursday into your Friday. For the most part of the midweek, it's going to be affecting the Midwest. Rain, threat of severe weather, that's going to be moving up by us Thursday night into Friday and even into Friday night as well. So for tonight, showers ending west to east mainly, otherwise mostly cloudy, mid-30s for your low. As we get into your day planner for tomorrow, we start out 8 o'clock, 39 degrees, and only 4 words can sum up your weather. Sunny all day long. Your high temperature, 48 degrees as we go into the evening hours, and those temperatures are still going to rise as we go through the night. As we look at your 5-day forecast, you can see why. Thursday, 66 degrees, chance of rain comes back. That's when that low pressure system starts to come in. Friday is your warmest day of the week, but we can see a heavier chance of rain as well as even a couple rumbles of thunder, and that's all said and done by Saturday. By Sunday, that cold front comes in, but the sun returns. And that's your forecast. And don't forget, if you have any interesting weather photos, you can send it into any of our social media sites on Twitter, on Facebook, or you can email them to us at meteorology@WTOP10.com. That's going to do it for me. I'll send it back to the desk with Olivia and John.
Thanks, Rob. Turning to state news now. Central New York is trying to make its carbon footprint a thing of the past as it moves towards the future. It was announced today that the Syracuse area will be receiving right under $650,000 to install electric car charging stations in some of the busiest parts of the city. Now, this is part of a statewide budget of about $4 million to install these charging stations throughout the entire state. The goal is to have 260 charging stations statewide by the end of this year.
Governor Cuomo does not support legalizing medical marijuana despite advocates for legislation in New York State. The governor believes the danger of the illegal drug is getting into the wrong hands is too great a risk. However, legislators claim to have enough votes in both houses to pass legislation on to the governor. According to Senator Dianne Savino, the Senate has 38 votes in favor of new legislation.
The Senate's bipartisan reform on immigration has been met with harsh criticisms from all sides. Some of the new policies include new visa systems for incoming workers and required background checks for all employers. Many people feel that the large emphasis on working ability as opposed to family ties is unethical, while others are saying that's precisely the reason why people come to this country in the first place, to work. However, despite the issues, the general public supports the idea. A recent Associated Press poll showed that 63% of the population is for the reform.
All American Airlines flights were grounded today after a computer malfunction. Thousands of passengers were stranded at the airport for hours. The airline attributed the failure to its reservation system, which was fixed at 4:30 p.m., according to spokeswoman Stacey France. The delays caused cancellations and delays throughout the nation, but to compensate for the waiting, American Airlines will pay the difference for a different flight or give a complete refund.
And when we come back, Larissa Menezes will show us how to use your accent in different situations.
But first, here's a quick look at your late night menu.
Oswego MBA program helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Last night, Lori Capricuzzi scored 2 goals on Alia Brian Love.
Joe, get out. Adam, you're in.
Lori Korpikovsky scored 2 goals on Ilya Brizgalov. Got it!
So John, I know you're going out tonight, so maybe Larissa will have some tips on how you can get out of some awkward situations with maybe not some pretty girls. So Larissa Menezes is here. Money, take it away.
Have you ever wondered how to get out of an awkward situation, get someone's attention, or sound more interesting? Well, tonight I will show you guys how to do all of the above just with the use of some Spanish words and an accent. I'm going to show you guys how to use your accent in your favor. I'm going to show you 3 situations where an accent always comes in handy. The first situation I'm going to show you guys is how to call someone's attention.
Oye, mami, preciosa, let me get your number.
Of course. In the second situation, I'm going to teach you guys how to sound more interested with an accent.
I like nature, God is front, and we are all mortals and of human race, and it were glorious odds for
Whoa. Yeah, let me read it. It's really boring. Rows upon rows of Labdicus race I see, living or dead, inevitably descend, and sun or sight contained.
Wow, your accent is really... The last situation I'm going to show you is how to get out of awkward situations with your accent.
Oh, can I get your number?
Claro, yo ni sé inglés.
Well, I'm sorry, doesn't matter. Can I have your number?
No, que yo no sé hablar inglés.
Now that you saw the 3 situations, I hope you know when to use your accent. And don't worry, everyone has an accent. So John, have you ever wondered how to approach a girl in the bar? You just use the words, hola bonita.
It's that easy?
Yeah, and
Wow.
then you, Olivia, to approach a guy, you should use the word hola guapo.
Okay.
All right, so let's try it.
Let's try it, let's
Okay.
try it.
Okay, so I approach you. And
Okay.
you're just sitting there all bored.
I'm sitting there all
And
bored.
then Mr. Mr.
Suave.
Prince Charming comes
Suave.
over here. Hola, bonita.
Hola, guapo. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
How'd we do? Good? All right.
Is that good?
Great.
Would I fit in? Like in?
Yeah, oh, definitely. You got it. You got
Okay.
it.
There we go.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you. And now a full look at your sports report.
With Dan North.
The Oswego State women's lacrosse team faced off with SUNY Potsdam this afternoon in a rainy one where the Lady Lakers were looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. They got off to a hot start in this one as they led 11-4 at intermission, but the Bears would not go down without a fight as they did make a run early in the second half. The Ladies Lakers got the win today with a final score of 15-9. Leading for Oswego State in the goals category was junior Connie Marsh and freshman Aranan Shattuck, each contributing 3 goals to the victory. The Lady Lakers moved to 5-6 overall and 2-3 in SUNYAC play. Masters champion Adam Scott and amateur Tin Ling Guan were not the only people playing competitive golf this weekend, as the Oswego State men's golf team traveled to Baldwinsville. The team competed on Sunday and Monday on Jack Nicklaus's own design course, Timber Banks. Dustin Farley led the way for the Lakers as he shot a 2-round total of 152, having a 4-over par 76 both days. The Lakers finished 13th overall in the 17-team tournament, moving up from the 15th spot during the first day of competition. And now the team looks to get ready for their next tournament as they travel to Keuka College on Thursday. Moving to the major leagues now, the New York Mets traveled to Coors Field today as they took on the Colorado Rockies. The Mets got off to a 2-0 start in the first inning today, as they did have a pretty good offensive day. Colorado took over in the 5th inning, though, as they scored 3 runs and ended up winning by the score of 8-4. David Wright led the Mets today as he went 3 for 4, scoring 2 runs and having 3 RBIs as well. The Mets dropped to 7-5 overall and 3-3 on the road. And finally, the New York Knicks have been playing well all year long and are finally wrapping up their season tomorrow night as they will be playing against the Atlanta Hawks in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are coming off of a loss against the Charlotte Bobcats and will most likely be resting their star players as Carmelo Anthony in preparation for the playoffs. The Knicks are 53-28 on the year and have received a 2 seed in the playoffs. They will be going up against the Boston Celtics, of whom the Knicks are 3-0 against this year. And that's it for sports. Now back over to the news desk.
We will be back in just 90 seconds.
But first, take a look at your community calendar.
WTOP. Yeah.
Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Sex. That's what a man was hoping for when police say he paid a prostitute with food from McDonald's. What a guy.
Reporter Laura Thornton has details.
They're a common sight in this Albuquerque neighborhood.
There's one hanging out around here right now, ma'am. Right here in this parking lot already.
Prostitutes.
I'd say there's quite a few of them, and they get quite a bit of business around here themselves.
And Friday afternoon in broad daylight right here on the corner of Virginia Street and Central Avenue, an undercover cop says 58-year-old Donald Jones hooked up with Kelly Gilbert in a very peculiar way. Police tell us after Jones picked up Gilbert at that corner, they followed him to a local McDonald's and to the drive-thru where they picked up a snack. The criminal complaint says the two then drove to Bullhead Park, where the cop approached the car and observed Kelly through the passenger window, quickly pulling up her pants. After being confronted, police say the woman admitted Donald bought her food in exchange for sex.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. But it doesn't surprise me, not in this neighborhood.
Police say both Gilbert and Jones were arrested.
It's a little disturbing.
A crude drawing turned into a terrible evening for partygoers in the UK last weekend. Sources say that DJ Thomas Evans woke up at said party with a lipstick drawing of male genitalia on his face, and upon discovering this drawing, confronted the man responsible. A brawl ensued, and the artist, so to speak, Anthony Thompson, hit his head and died from the brain injury he received. Evans said it was an accident, just a silly argument amongst friends. The trial for this is ongoing.
While some anguish for hours over writing a resignation letter, one British man spent 2 hours icing his resignation letter on a cake. Stansted Airport's ex-employee, Chris Holmes, sent the cake to his colleagues who were more than reluctant to cut into his somewhat formal resignation. Holmes resigned as a birthday present to himself so he can spend more time with his family.
They say some things are different over in Europe. The food, the traditions. How about the traffic system? Well, apparently the roads and cars are incredibly small because workers took it upon themselves to paint 2 sets of double yellow lines on an alleyway only 4 feet wide. Now, I don't know the exact dimensions, but I think it's safe to assume that cars everywhere on this earth are wider than that. The residents in the area agree as well, because they say the only type of cars that can fit down the alleyway are little tiny toy cars. So, yeah, that's kind of weird.
One Iranian scientist is claiming to have built the first time machine, but this is no time turner or Back to the Future mobile. 27-year-old scientist Ali Riziki has said he can accurately predict the next 5 to 8 years of its users. He says, quote, "It will not take you into the future, it will bring the future to you." Riziki will not release the time machine out of fear that the Chinese will steal and mass produce the machine. And before we say goodnight, here's one look at your final forecast with meteorologist Rob Camille. Rob?
Thanks a lot, Olivia. Looking at our Quest Day forecast, not our Class Day forecast, our Quest Day forecast for tomorrow. We're sunny throughout the entire day, starting out in the upper 30s as we go through the morning, going through the 40s to your high temperature of 48 as we close out the day tomorrow. Now, one thing I want to touch on as well, we've got a meteor shower coming up this weekend. The Lyrids are going to be viewable across the entire nation. You can see on the screen here, the blotches of green and red are the good to poor viewing conditions. New York, we're going to be in the fair conditions on Saturday, but Sunday is our best opportunity to see some shooting stars here in Oswego.
You know, it's funny that shooting stars are happening this weekend because there's a star coming on Saturday. His name's Lupe Fiasco. I don't know.
Yes.
He's kind of an up-and-coming indie guy. I'm just kidding. He's massive. I'm very excited. So it's funny that the stars are coming out when the stars
are coming out when the stars come to Oswego.
I just figured that was a little witty thing I can get out of your
And also, I think the stars, I think that would be a perfect date for John to take his girl that he meets at the bar tonight with the new Spanish help, that courtesy of Larissa.
Well, according to the viewing audience, it's you. So what do you do?
Ooh,
Bonita.
Well.
And let's, you know, it's up to you. But you have my number.
All right, thanks.
And that will do it for us here. For the entire 10 News team, I'm John Mangello.
And I'm Olivia Eugenio. Stay tuned for Two Girls, One Desk. Good night, Oswego.